So today we're going to show you how to repair gel coat injuries to your Placid Boatworks boat. As you can see, this boat has been dropped, so it has some stress fractures in the gel coat, some impact marks. Nothing serious, nothing to cry about. You're going to just fix this pretty easily with one of our repair kits. As you can see, the carbon is exposed in some places. What we use to do that is just a utility knife with a sharp point, and you just start by picking and scraping at any loose gel coat, and you work out all of these little fingers up until the ends, until the fracture stops. And then once that's done, you fill it with matching gel coat, and if necessary, you'll patch the inside. I'll flip it around here so you can see. That's a classic sign of a stress fracture, so we'll put a little Kevlar patch on that also to strengthen the laminate. So we've chased all of those little cracks out to the ends and cleaned all the loose gel coat out, and you're left with something that looks like this. Kind of ugly at the moment, but it won't be after we get it filled and sanded and buffed back out. So I will go get some matching gel coat. First thing we're going to do before we put any gel coat on those, rough up the edges around all of those with some 120 sandpaper, and then use some acetone to clean it up good and let the gel coat adhere a little better, and that will be the next step. Now we'll clean off the sanded area with some acetone and take a look and make sure that we've roughed up the edges of the picked out area enough. Now we start to fill the gel coat back in, the color match gel coat. First thing you want to do is catalyze the gel coat, or you will not have a satisfactory result. You'll be mad. So make sure you catalyze the gel coat. Then you start spreading it in with a stick, and you can see that as we're doing this, I'm leaving the gel coat high. I'm not trying to smooth it to the surface of the boat. I'm leaving it high. That's so we have something to work with when we sand off the excess gel coat in order to fair the surface once it's all filled. So you can see I've kind of cut some sections out. This whole process took about 5 minutes, but you continue to drip the gel coat in and cover and not leave any low spots. If you have low spots, you're going to have to go back and fill them again. Once you start sanding, you'll start to see that, oh boy, I don't have enough gel in there, and you'll have to go back and recatalyze some gel. Hopefully you've saved a little bit, and fill in any low spots. Outside work drying. The gel coat is hardening on the outside, and I've got the boat flipped over, and we're looking at the inside of the injury. I've got some resin catalyzed, and I've got a clean brush, and what I'm going to do is brush some resin over this spot And then I'm going to take the Kevlar patch and apply it and wet it out, and then put peel ply over the edge. And the reason we use the peel ply is to smooth the edges so there are no sharp edges on the patch. So let me grab the brush. And our catalyzed resin. Just kind of wet the edges out, where about the little bit beyond where you think the patch is going to go. We'll put the patch on, and that wet resin kind of holds the patch in place. Now we're going to take some more resin in the brush, just kind of dab it in, wet this patch out good. You'll know when it's wet, it'll stop moving around. And again, be sure to really force that resin in. We got plenty in there. A little bit of extra resin around the outside edge because that's going to form our nice little ramp up onto the patch so we don't have a sharp edge. And once you're sure that that fabric is all wet, you're going to take your peel ply and lay it on top. You can see the peel ply is going to extend beyond your patch all the way around. And then again, just take your brush and work that patch right on. Now this peel ply is neat stuff. It lets the resin flow through it, but it'll peel off the laminate once the resin's dry. Thus the name. So we're going to work, and any little air bubbles like right here, you can see that this patch is down nice and tight. You don't see any air bubbles around the edges, and that'll make for a real nice cosmetically pleasant, or at least as cosmetically pleasant as it can be, patch on the inside of the boat. Once the repair has dried sufficiently, you can take the peel ply and peel it off. As you can see, the edges of the repair are nice and smooth. There's no sharp edges to catch your fingers on or your feet. Once the gel coat is dry, you want to start sanding. Usually use a block just to keep everything fair and even. Usually start with a 120 sandpaper to get the shape close to the original fair hull shape. And once we finish with the 120, then we go on to 320. We go to wet paper after this. Once we get the shape close, then we'll go to wet paper 320, 600, 1000, 1200, 1500, and 2000. And after we get through with the 2000, we'll take buffing compound and the electric buffer, and the finish will look like the surrounding finish. When you're working with the 120 sandpaper and you start getting close to the shape of the original hull, you want to carefully work around the edges of the spots in order to blend them in with the rest of the hull. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of filming this myself, so it's a little difficult, but you can see how this spot here is blending in around the edges, and that's what I'm going to work on, right around the edge of that. And you'll see that eventually that'll disappear. You can see it's starting to blend in with the rest of the boat. Once you get to this stage, you might want to not use the block and just kind of work around the edges of your fill. You can see there's some spots here that may need to be touched up. We'll see, we'll sand a little more and we'll see. One thing you don't want to do is over sand and get into the carbon, so, but you do want a nice fair finish, and if you run your hand across it, I can still feel it's a little high in the middle, so I can take it down a little bit more. Alright, so this is what it looks like after 320 wet. So the idea as you go up through each wet sanding grit is to see a uniform surface. You don't want to see any scratches from the previous grits, so you want a nice uniform hazing before you go to the next grit. Once you get through the 2000 grit, you're going to apply the 3M automotive buffing compound to the area, and you're going to run either, you can hand buff, you can use a hand buffing like a terry cloth pad if you don't have access to a power buffer, but the power buffer just speeds things up quite a bit. And this is the kind of result you can expect. You should be able to get finish that is the same as the surrounding finish.